to speak in a language of pure meaning.
Hello, everyone. Midway Gaming. So, this is an interesting one, fresh off the docket from about 4 or 5 days ago, give or take. In California, right? It's an expensive state. We all know that. There's going to be even more expenses coming your way, though, if you live there, because now there's going to be a 1.5% surcharge tacked on to battery products, things with a non-removable battery. And if it's an embedded battery, whether it's rechargeable or not, you're going to pay an extra 1.5 surcharge on it. Now, granted, the surcharge is capped at about 15 bucks, so at most you're paying an extra 15 bucks. And you're probably wondering why I'm bringing this up. Well, you haven't connected the dots yet. Controllers such as PlayStation and Xbox controllers also fall under this umbrella, unfortunately. Now, we've done the math. It's actually not that much different from what's being paid for now. If my math is right in the US right now, you're paying about 79 bucks on average for a controller, 80 bucks if you're doing the roundings. And that works out to, after California's state tax, about 7.25. Granted, if you don't have any other, region taxes tacked on top of that, you're looking at about 85 bucks after you do your taxes. Well, because of this 1.5 surcharge now tacked onto it, you're going to be paying 87 bucks. So it's like 2 bucks, but controllers are expensive, so yeah, not nice. Granted, there is a good reason that they're claiming for this. This is actually a result of a change to a bill that has actually been in for a while now, which was originally designed, at least according to the article from AOL, or at least part of it originally, was for the collecting of old computer monitors and TVs for the last 2 decades. This bill was actually Bill 12,215. This is not mathing. 1,215, and its author being the former state senator Josh Newman, a Democrat who represents part of Los Angeles and San Bernardino counties. It was signed into law back in 2022. Now, the part of the reason why this is the way it is now is because they're adding batteries in, is because, well, in their eyes, most controllers end up in the trash. Most people don't recycle their controllers, unfortunately, and they see that as a hazard. In their own words, these things are everywhere. They're ubiquitous. And they also say that in regards to this bill, paying a small chunk stand fee to fund proper collection is far cheaper than $1 million fires, higher insurance premiums, and rate hikes passed on to communities. This is by Doug Kobold, an executive director of the California Product Stewardship Council. That is not as not as nice as I thought it would. Who himself co-sponsored this legislation. So yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be taking effect as of, I think, right now, honestly. So just look out for that when you're starting to buy a bill. Again, it's like a $2 difference, and it's going for a good cause to help, fund the collection and proper disposal of these things because, batteries can catch fire, and that's never a good thing. I mean, we all know the story of the California fires, and we don't want batteries being on the list of things that cost.
End too well.
Yeah, we don't want batteries from console or controllers being the things that cause more of them. Granted, whether this actually is the case, and this is where I'm going to sound a little conspiratorial here, is besides the point. After all, if you know U.S. politics and just governmental procedures in general, you know that things have a habit of being, taxed for good reasons, but once that money tends to get in the system, it mysteriously tends to vanish and go into places that it should never have been. So, whether this actually is the case, or, well, it supposedly is the case, whether this ends up actually funding it and not getting siphoned to some other politician's fund is a wait and see kind of thing. But hey, at least on the surface, it's going to a good cause, and that's, roundabout the case. The fun part is that I get to talk about this because even if it is only a difference of $2, which changes an 85 buck controller to an 87 buck controller, it's still flipping cheaper than Canada, which pays $100+ for a controller, just one,
Yippee.
which is wretched, absolutely wretched. Yeah, as one pundit put it when it comes to Canada, I only say this because I live here. The difference between California and say Ontario, for example, which is where we live, 13% tax rate here. Fun is that in California you get paid a California wage to pay California taxes, versus in Canada, and especially Ontario, you get paid an Oregon wage to pay California taxes. Or to put it in a more fun way, you pay California taxes on an Oregon wage. So, no gripe to Oregon, lovely state. But, yeah. Anyways, thought I'd point it out, thought I'd let you guys know. Again, the article for this is down in the description below. It comes to us by AOL. Not often we reference them, but hey, they got good news, or maybe bad news in this case if you're especially a particularly frugal individual, let's say. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all had a good one, and we'll see you all next week when hopefully there will be happy news. That does not mean you have to pay more. Bye bye, everybody.
Have a good one.